All right, everyone, and welcome back to Phenomenal Fantasy Wrestling. We're here today to talk about the draft. Draft is coming up next weekend. So everybody's asking, how do we do the draft? What is the draft for all the new players? Most of you were with us for the first two seasons. You know what we're doing this season. Basically, the draft is the most strenuous thing we do because it takes so long to go through and draft all of our players. So what we do is we take the rosters. We're doing NXT, AEW, Impact, Raw, SmackDown, MLW, Ring of Honor, NWA. We're doing all of those. Okay, we take each round. We have, I believe, 10 rounds of drafting that we'll go through. The first round we'll go through is tag teams. Okay, you can take a tag team from any brand, any one of them. Okay, we'll go straight from number 1 to number, I believe we're up to 25, 26 people. Okay, so you draft in that order, 1 through, and we're going to do the order here in just a minute. That'll be part of this video. But you'll draft in your order. Moose will draft number 1 in each round because he won season 2 of our game. So for everybody else, it'll be 1 through 25 or 26. I can't remember the exact number. And then next round, Monday Night Raw, we'll do snake draft. So we'll go 26 to number 1, but Moose will draw number 1 in each. So it'll be 26 to number 2. And then back to number 2 through 26, 26 to number 2, snake draft the whole way. We'll do tag team first. That can be from any brand. Then we'll do, you must do somebody from Monday Night Raw. Must do somebody from SmackDown in the next one. Must do somebody from NXT in the next one. AEW, Impact, and then it starts the wild card rounds. Wild card round, the very first one will be, you have to have somebody from NWA, MLW, or Ring of Honor. Okay? Just one of those 3 brands. Anybody from any one of those 3 brands in this round. The next round is the other wild cards. And we're going to draw all 3 of those at once. You have 3 wild card spots. 1 must be a female. They can be from any brand. Any of the following brands that we score on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the draft order. I've made a list here of everybody playing, except for Moose, because he's number 1, period. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Then I've gone over here to random.org. Okay, and we're going to put that list that I just copied. We're going to paste it here. Everybody's in there. And we're going to randomize it, and this is going to be our draft order. Okay. Right here. So, as you see the names, remember, Moose will be on top of each one. So, you'll actually, number 1, William, you'll actually be number 2. And then so forth. Everybody will be down a number. And then we'll go William down, we'll start with Moose, and then William, Brian, Gideon, all the way down to Alan. And then when it comes to, that'll be for the tag teams. And then when we move next to Raw, it'll go Moose, and then Alan, Marky, Christopher, Steven, and then back up. Move over to SmackDown. It'll be... Then when we move over to SmackDown, it'll go back in the other order. Moose, like I said, he's first each round because he won the last season, so he's first. But then it'll be Moose, William, Brian, Gideon, all the way through snake draft, down and up, down and up, down and up. If you cannot participate in the draft, then on the group webpage, if you go to the group, you go to announcements, there will be a section that has the list, all the superstars. They'll be from every brand. I have a tag team listing. I do need to update it. I will do that this weekend because the recent firings that happened. MLW has been doing their open draft where they've been re-signing and then having new signees. This past week with Matt Cross re-signed with MLW. They've had I can't remember who else. Lee Moriarty signed, a couple of luchadors, but they've had some good signings coming as of recently. Davey Richards, probably the biggest one. Okay, so the thing about MLW, and I know I've been asked, they're not running again until, I think they said they're shooting in September. They'll be back on TV or airing their shows in November. What we're going to do about that? They are having the Battle Riot next weekend, but that's before our season starts, so that won't count. But so they may have other events until then. I'm not sure, but what we're going to do is, since you can take somebody from NWA, Ring of Honor, or MLW, obviously you take an NWA or an ROH guy now. Every Friday we do the trades. The trade threads open up. You can trade at that point if somebody from MLW. Also, for this season only, I have decided that I watch a lot of independent wrestling TV, IWTV. A lot of people that you see on Impact, MLW, you see on some of those indie federations. As other things, Impact, AEW, you see over in New Japan right now because of the whole open door. I have reached out to one of our players who watches a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let him know this season we are going to allow points. If somebody you have from AEW or Impact wrestles in New Japan, you can score points for that. I'm going to allow it. I want 2 months a heads up. If I don't watch New Japan very often. I get, the Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash, but I don't really watch it very much. So I don't feel it would be fair for me to add it into this game to where I can't score it. I know people want me to add it, but I would not be able to make it fair and score New Japan because I don't watch New Japan. And they have a lot of events. Their G1 lasts for weeks. I just don't feel it's fair if I add it in. But what I've decided to do is because people from Impact and AEW are going over there, they're coming over here, it's fair to include what your person's doing over there or elsewhere and scoring you for that. So if Jon Moxley defends the U.S. title in New Japan, then you're going to get, that's going to count for you. If Kenny Omega goes to AAA and defends his Mega Championship, you're going to get that. If Andrade El Idolo goes on AAA or just some random indie show and defends, or he don't have a title, but if he wrestles there, there's an indie show coming up in a week from now that Matt Cardona is going to be at. I'm going to it. So I see it happening in my face. I'm going to point it. I'm going to give you points for it. I watched coming up here on the 24th of July, New South is going to have Danhausen. We're including Ring of Honor. You can draft Danhausen. I'm going to give you points when he wrestles on New South. They usually take 3 weeks in advance or 3 weeks at a time. So on the 24th, they're going to take 3 weeks. For those 3 weeks, whatever Danhausen gets, if he wrestles on all 3 shows and he wins, you're going to get points for that. If they're also going to have 10 from the Dark Order there on July 11th or 17th. I can't remember which. You're going to get points for that. He's going to wrestle I'm trying to give you the best chance of winning that I can this season because we're going so long. I'm trying to include as much wrestling as I can. Obviously, I can't watch it all. So if you've got somebody on your roster and you see that he's wrestled for just the most random place, send me those results. And I will give you points for it. 2 months. If it's older than 2 months, I can't do it. Or we can have that discussion at that point. But I want to try to limit it to 2 months. Because you are going to trade people around. You are going to do that. And you might not have that person on your roster anymore. You might have had him at the time, but not now. We'll reach that when we get to it. It's something new I'm going to do this season. Just try to give everybody the best shot that I can of winning and to include as much wrestling as I can. Will I do point threads for all those indies shows? Probably not. Probably just watch them and give you points if you're person. That being said, Impact. I know you guys watch Impact. Kimberly. We aren't getting half of what Kimberly can do. I watched ICW Pit Fight the other night. She was badass. I don't know why she's holding back for Impact, but she was whooping somebody's ass on there. That being said, there's a lot of them on there that do that. There's also people, we talked about MLW. There's TJP. If you've got him on new or on Impact, he also wrestles for MLW, so you might be able to do that and get points both ways for that. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get you as many points as we can. As far as the draft, I want to make it as easy as we possibly can, but the thing about the draft is it takes forever. The best way for us to do the draft is for everybody to be online and for us to give 2 minutes for you to make your picks. It's not always possible. Not everybody's in the same time zone. Not everybody can be online at the same time. Like I was saying a little bit ago, if you go on the group page, you go to the superstar section or to the posting about the superstars, there's a list. Every superstar, every tag team, every brand. Take that list. Make me a list. Put your top 30 guys from each and send it to me. I'll draft based on your list in the order you give them to me. If you don't feel like putting them in order, put a number next to them. Copy that list, paste it to me, put a number. I want them in this order. I'll put them in order. I want to do things to make it the easiest possible way we can do it. If everybody sends me a list, I'll do this right here for the draft. I'll do a whole video. I'll do the draft. I'll do it off everybody's lists. That would be the number one easiest possible way to do it and quickest. But I know a lot of people like to interact and do stuff during the draft. However you guys want to do it. Sending me a list is literally the fastest way because I can just look at the list, bam, 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 put them in order as you have them on your list. If this person had Kenny Omega, this person had Jon Moxley, if you want Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, and you're coming up third, you're getting whoever you put third. I mean, obviously, that's the way it's going to work. I'm going in the order of the draft list and in the order of everybody's lists, because everybody's going to want the world champion first. 10-1 Moose, you're going to take all the world champions because you've got the first pick, and that's the bonus to getting the first pick. That's the bonus to getting the first pick. You can get whoever you want, basically. The only thing that he's got to worry about is once we get to the wild card spots. Then, that's just a pick of whoever's left. He don't get to have first pick all the way through. He gets first pick on each round. So obviously, once we get through all the rounds and get to the wild card 3 spots, he's got those first 3 spots, but that just depends on who's left. Trying to make it as easy as I can for you guys. If you have any questions, have any concerns, have anything else, I'm happy to address it. But let's do a mock draft, sort of. I'll give you guys an opportunity to see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go to the computer here and put y'all back on here. I'm going to show you kind of a mock draft. If you've ever done sports drafting, fantasy football, fantasy baseball, same thing. But I'm going to do it so everybody can see what I'm talking about. All right, guys, as you can see, my computer screen here, and this is how I do everything. This is the, if you guys last season saw the spreadsheet, this is the spreadsheet I use. Obviously, we knew Moose was number 1. I didn't know the other, rankings at the time. I'll fill it in as we go. But basically, let's say Moose wants, he's going to pick his tag team first. Let's say he takes the Young Bucks. So he's going to get the Young Bucks. Then next, look like William. So let's say William takes, who's the Impact Tag Champions? Violent by Design. Okay, so... And let's say you've sent me a list and you're number 3 and you have the Young Bucks of Violent by Design. Obviously, they're taken, so I'm going to look at who did you have 3rd on your list. Let's say you had... say you had Finjuice 3rd. So you're going to get Finjuice. And then next person. Goes down through it. Once we get down here to 20, then we go to Raw. Okay, Raw, obviously, Moose is getting first. World champion, Lashley. Easy pick. Okay, then we go back down to here. Why am I going back down to here? Because we're doing a snake draft. So we're going down, we're going up. So if you were last here, if you're Allen, yeah, sure, it looks bad. You're last place. But you're also, when Raw starts, you're second pick. So it's not unfair. The top guys aren't getting the top guys every time. Where it really comes in is for you middle folk here. From, me being 16, Cassie being 8. From 8 to 16, you're kind of in that middle section. But that's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, Impact, your NWA, MLW, Ring of Honor, your wild card, and like I said, we're going to do all 3 wild cards in one pick. Just makes it easier for the end. Obviously, I don't want to do that I don't want to bunch up these, the rest of them, because I don't want you to go for the champion on each one. If I let you have... Okay, let's say we pick 2 in each round. Obviously, you're going to pick the tag champions, the world champion. You're going to pick tag champions from another federation, and you're going to pick the U.S. champion. You're going to pick, champion until it's down here and there are no champions left. I want it to be as fair as possible. So we're doing it that way. The thing about that is that's going to make it... The thing about doing it that way is that's where it gets time consuming. Okay, because everybody's, we're having to wait for each person to make their pick. We're having to wait. I'm sure you've seen if you've not seen the NFL draft, you see that it's 3 nights worth of drafting for 7 rounds. Because they've got 30-something teams. Each one has, 10 minutes on the clock or something. I'm not sure. I don't watch college football. I watch Titans. Love the Titans. So the draft, I will follow who the Titans wind up with, but I don't follow college to watch a draft and know who all the college players are. I know a few names, but obviously it's the same concept. But do we want to do 3 nights worth for this many? The easiest way, like I've said, is to send me a list, make you a list, top 30 people for each one. That way you're covered. Because I'm going to give, we're going to do 2 days. Because unless you send, everybody sends me a list, and then it's easy, I can do it all in one day. Because on the 10th, next Saturday, we're going to start the draft. I'll probably put up a poll just to make sure everybody's cool with it. I'm hoping to start it early because that evening I have an indie show I've already bought tickets for. Matt Cardona's going to be there. Some other, I think Rich Swann might be there too. It's going to be awesome. But so obviously I can't do it all in one day unless I have your list, everybody's list. But there's so much time to go through each one of these. I can't do it all in a day. We may have to do Saturday and Sunday. It all depends on you guys. If you guys send me a list, I can get it all done. Just like this video, I can sit here, have you on my computer, have, clicking back and forth through your lists. We can have it done. If it's on video, you guys can't complain that I'm messing around with it, because obviously me and my wife do play. My brother plays, my sister plays, her husband plays, friends play. I feel like everybody right now is a friend. We all talk and chat. We've all gotten to know each other. I wouldn't want to cheat for anybody. If I wanted to cheat, then I'd be the one winning all the seasons. And that's not fair. But I do enjoy playing. It's fun. Excuse me. But I would never cheat. I would never... So you guys don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I was second place last season. My wife was third place last season. I do help her because she doesn't watch as much wrestling as I do, obviously. But as far as giving points or holding off points, that being said, points. We also last season did polls. If there's a big title match for New Japan, I'd put up a poll. Give you 20 points per... if you pick the winner, to everybody who picked the winner. The G1 came up. Each person picked one person out of the G1, and you got points for picking the winner of that. I'm still going to do that this season. Like I said, I don't watch much New Japan, but obviously, there's going to be a list of people entered into the G1, and we're going to know who wins. That's easy for me to follow. Things like that. That being said as well, MLW. Tom Lawler is the strong champion. You're getting points for him defending, being on MLW or New Japan strong. I don't watch it. I don't know how often he wrestles. But, that's just another example of a way to get points for somebody in MLW until they come back. If you're wanting that specific person and not wanting to risk somebody else taking him when they do come back. Because Tom Lawler is probably one of the biggest ones in MLW, so I know he's pretty popular. Just like I know me and Steven will probably be battling over Danhausen when that comes out for Ring of Honor. I didn't look at the order of how me and him fall, but, whoever falls in that one, I tell you, depending on what champions are available, I'll probably go with Danhausen. Not that he does much on there. He doesn't even wrestle, but once in a blue moon, I think he's lost the last few times he has, but just love him. But that being said as well, that's not always the smartest way to go, is just because you love somebody and, you root for that person, that don't mean they're going to be the one getting all the points. I wasn't a big fan of Fire and Flava from Impact, but I told my wife, I said, I knew they were going to win the tag titles first. Told her, you're going to want to grab these two. So she grabbed them as her wild cards. They went on to win the tag titles. She got points for it. I think she was in first place at the beginning of the season because she had those two. Until Shayna and Nia started defending their titles constantly and winning them. And that right there is how Moose jumped up to number one and kept it the entire season. Nia and Shayna were his saving grace, I tell you. All right, but if you have any more questions, need to know anything, please let me know. Comment, put it in group chat. If I didn't cover it, I can try to cover it there. But hopefully, me doing that little snake showing you how we're going to do the draft. Hopefully, everything helps. It's just a matter of everybody being online or everybody getting me a list. I emphasize getting me a list because that is literally the quickest and easiest way we can do this without everybody having to be online at the same time and do this. Obviously, doing it interactively, everybody being online is fun too. Because we're able to, go back and forth with each other about it. But I do know it does take a long time and does get strenuous on everybody. And not everybody can sit there for 7-8 hours. And that's why I said if we want to do a draft that way, we're going to have to break it into 2 days. But you guys, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think. I'll get this posted immediately so that you guys can see how we're going to do this draft. All right. Thank you.